Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Drux Milan Unboxing. We've got something really big going on at the bubble at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas on Saturday night. It's the lightweight championship of the world, the fight for all the marbles, and it's the young lion against an established star. Will Teofimo Lopez, like his people have promised, stage the takeover, or will Vasyl Lomachenko confirm his greatness? That is a big question. Now, of course, we know Vasyl Lomachenko very well. He tied the record of Sainsat Mangsurin, a Thai fighter, I hope I say the name right, of winning a world title in the least number of professional fights. That was in his third bout when he outpointed Gary Russell Jr. for the WBO featherweight title. Gary Russell Jr., of course, today is still the WBC featherweight champion of the world. He attempted to make a new record by doing it in his second fight, and that's where he suffered his only loss, a split decision loss to Orlando Salido in Texas. And he sits today with a record of 14 wins, 1 loss, 10 knockouts. Of course, from his featherweight days, he went on, won the WBO super featherweight, or junior lightweight as we call it in South Africa, won that title, 130-pound title, by knocking out Roman and Rocky Martinez. And then he won the WBA and Ring Magazine lightweight title by stopping Jorge Linares, himself a great fighter. Added the WBO bout by appointing Jose Pedraza, and the WBC by beating Luke Campbell in his last fight, and that was in August of last year. So he'll have more than a year's of worth of inactivity coming into Saturday. Now, Teofimo Lopez, he has got the exact number of pro fights as Lomachenko, 15-0 with 12 knockouts. But Lomachenko, of course, is a huge amateur star, 396 and won something incredible, 2 Olympic gold medals. So he's by far the more seasoned fighter. If we look at the guys that Lomachenko beat, it's Gary Russell Jr., Rocky Martinez, then we have Nicholas Walters. He was first guy to defeat Guillermo Rigondeaux, albeit at a heavier weight than what Rigondeaux usually fights at. Jorge Linares, Jose Pedraza, all these fighters that Lomachenko beat. And in the Eastern Cape there's an expression in Isikosa that says Ubeta Bani, who did he beat? And that's relevant because it refers to quality of opposition. Now if we look at Teofimo Lopez, there's only really one top name on his record, the guy who won the IBF World Lightweight title from in his last fight, and that is Richard Comey from Ghana. He stopped him in the second round, very impressive performance. For the rest, it's like sort of guys that are good fighters, but they're a couple of levels below Lomachenko, like former world title challenger Diego Magdaleno, and sort of mid-level guys with good records, but not really top-level guys like Mason Menard and so on. Now, if we look at Lomachenko, the bigger question is, what doesn't he do well? He can throw every punch in the book. He's got all the tricks in the book. He's got, I think his best attribute is his feet. He's got great side-to-side lateral movement. He changes levels. He turns you around. Fantastic feet on him, you know. He almost is, to me, today's version of Pernell Whitaker, that great, also a great lightweight champion of the past. Maybe not so much on his toes as Whitaker, more side to side, but very much the same thing in the sense that he cannot, it's very hard to hit him. Really, you have a headache on your hands of Lomachenko. What are the flaws? The obvious thing of Lomachenko is he is a smaller guy at lightweight. He's not a natural lightweight. Super feather is probably more his better weight, but lightweight is where the money is. So he is the shorter guy. He's a guy at reach disadvantage, but he's been that before, and you almost do not notice it. He's so slick at closing the distance, stepping to the side. He can out jab the taller guy. That's how good he's in and out, and his side-to-side movement is. You know, you don't notice the height and the reach disadvantage. And he will be having that now against Teofimo Lopez. If we look at Teofimo Lopez, very, very good boxer, puncher. He's not just a puncher. So he will be not only having a puncher's chance, he's got a slightly better than puncher's chance in my opinion. He's got heavy hands. If he hits you, he's going to finish you. If you can look at his last fight, the Richard Comey knockout, caught him with a scorching right hand down the pipe. Comey went down. I think Kamei got up a bit too quickly, not that it would have made a difference. He immediately popped up and his legs weren't under him and he was stumbling around, and then Lopez was on him and it was all she wrote in the second round. So Lopez, great finisher, and there's also some craft. If you look at how he set up Kamei for that right hand, you know, he did it with a feint and a bit of a dip. He is a guy that has a skill set on him. Very, very good fighter. We'll see if he is elite yet on Saturday. But yeah, that is Teofimo Lopez. Now Lomachenko, what is he going to do? He's just going to do what he always does, just box the guy's ears off and move around. He's got to be on point. How will layoff affect him? That's a good question. I was in a tournament in our South African version of a bubble, and I sort of got the feeling guys get caught a bit more, and that is trouble for Lomachenko. He mustn't get caught against Lopez, because Lopez is a harder hitter than, say, Jorge Linares. Jorge Linares dropped him on the seat of his pants with a well-timed right hand as he jumped in the straight line for just a moment. Linares tagged him, but Linares couldn't get him out of there. Now, Lopez, I think, is not quite as fast as Linares, who's got great hand speed, but I think he does have heavier hands. So that brings us to Lopez. You know, Lomachenko just needs to stay on point, box like he always does, go to the body, and he does go to the body well, upstairs, downstairs, and just frustrate Lopez, you know, and as the rounds go by, he should be able to get Lopez frustrated and take unnecessary chances and get him more and more out of a fight. Now for Lopez, how do you beat Lomachenko? Now we can look back at Lomachenko's second fight against Salido, because he's actually the only guy who beat him as a pro. But that was a less seasoned version, a less seasoned professional version of Vasyl Lomachenko. And yeah, Salido got away with stuff. He came in overweight, and he also got away with a lot of fouls. And I don't think that's gonna, Lopez will get away with that amount of fouling that Salido did in Texas. So, you know, and then Lopez also isn't the kind of fighter that Orlando Salido is. Orlando Salido is always in your face, a very high work rate, sort of a swarming pressure fighter. That's not Lopez. He's a lot more calculated. He says he's going to be on Lomachenko like white on rice. He may be, but I can't see him swarming and throwing as much as many punches as Orlando Salido. I don't really see that. So for Lopez, he really needs to tag Lomachenko with something, put him down and keep him down, or he's got to hurt him badly enough that Lomachenko unravels, you know, that he can jump on him, that Lomachenko stands still for long enough that he can stop him. That's what Lopez must work towards in that fight. I struggle seeing him winning it on points. I can only see the stoppage for Lopez, but we live in strange times. I may be wrong. Lopez last fought in December, so he won't have quite as much ring rust. On that topic, it could also work in Lomachenko's advantage. He's 52 to Lopez 23. Not a lot of pro fights, but he's had almost 400 amateur fights. That's also wear and tear on your body. So he's definitely got more miles on the clock. So maybe the rest would have done him good. Lomachenko, incidentally, also was the first man to win world titles in 3 weight classes within 12 fights. Just an interesting aside. But that is a factor. How will inactivity affect each fighter? I think it might work in Lomachenko's favor. I'm sure he would have done things to stay sharp during the pandemic and so on. Lopez is a younger guy. He's got to hurt Lomachenko and get on him, take him out of his game plan. He's capable of doing that. The question is, will he be able to land hard enough? How will Lomachenko react? Now, if you tag Lomachenko, he does one of two things. Like when Linares tagged him, I think when he's a little bit buzzed, then he's going to use the perimeter of the ring and he's just going to move in a wider circle around you and you're going to chase him down. So if that happens, Lopez will really need to know how to cut off that ring, because it's not so easy with Lomachenko. The other thing is if you tag him and you don't really hurt him, Lomachenko comes back with, if you tag him with one, he's gonna come back with 3 punches, 2 punches, 3 punches, 4, 5 punches. So he answers back in volume when you tag him, I've noticed, and you don't necessarily hurt him. So if I suspect if Lopez tags him, knocks him down, Lomachenko is going to be on his bicycle for a while. But if not, and he comes back at Lopez, Lopez just has to keep punching with him and catch him with something else. So that's the thing key for Lopez: hurt Lomachenko, go after him, or tag him and then wait for Lomachenko's retaliatory attack and then counter punch with him with that. So who is going to win on Saturday night? For me, it's hard for me to pick against Lomachenko until he moves further up in weight. I think anything up above lightweight is going to be problematic for him. But nobody's gotten close to beating him. Linares had a flash knockout. Okay, excuse me, Salido did beat him, but there's a couple of asterisks on that win, as I've said, you know. So it's not the same Lomachenko anymore, and Lopez may be better than Salido, but he isn't Salido style-wise. So I struggle to pick against Lomachenko. It reminds me, this fight reminds me a lot of when Canelo Alvarez fought Floyd Mayweather. He was a much younger, bigger, stronger guy, but he wasn't as seasoned, you know. Lopez has only gone the 12-round distance once. A plucky fighter who frustrates him, like Masayoshi Takani showed, can get him off his game plan. And I think Lopez is an elite level fighter. I think he's going to have a great career. I think we'll see more of him after Saturday. If he pulls it off, what a big thing. We have a bright new star will arrive. But I think Teofimo Lopez is going to lose competitively. He's going to have some moments. He might win a few rounds. He might score a flash knockdown. But I think in the end, Lomachenko is motivated for this. He even gave up some of his purse to Lopez to make this fight happen. I think Lomachenko wants to prove a point. You know, Lopez and his people, they've been vocal in the run-up to this fight. I think Lomachenko wants to really make a point here. As long as that doesn't get him into the frame of mind where he's too aggressive and gets tagged a couple of times, that's what he mustn't do. Then that can go badly wrong for him. But I don't think he's got that. I don't think it's his mentality. He's too experienced. He's too clever for that. I think he's just going to do his thing. So I think I'm going to go with Vasyl Lomachenko to win in a good fight, win a competitive but clear unanimous decision over Teofimo Lopez. So I'm running with Team High-Tech with Vasyl Lomachenko. But I look really forward to the fight, and it's interesting to see what Teofimo Lopez at this young stage of his career, kudos for taking the challenge, can do with Lomachenko. But in the end, I think Lomachenko will have his hand raised with lots and lots of belts and remain the lightweight king. Until we see each other again, remember to keep those gloves up.